I'm so happy to be here because this is the time to do parenting in a new way, in another way. And I think a confident parent is taking charge. Have you ever felt, put your hand up, have you ever felt like your kids don't appreciate you? That are they not grateful for all that you're doing for them with your best intentions? Well, I would love them to see you as a hero, as a role model. And by the way, I have a podcast. It's called the Heroes Podcast, and you can follow it up and watch it. It's about human transformation. There have been quite a few parents there. But today, I'm giving you principles and easy steps to change your leadership as a parent. Let me just share my screen so you can see what I'm presenting for you. And then you'll be able to see that a transformational parent, I believe, a credible parent is is a new version of you, but most importantly, bringing new awareness and consciousness to a series of possibly troublesome generations, as it was in my family. I'll talk about that in a bit later. And to change it to another outcome, which has maybe never been in your family. So that's me. I have become an inspirational person, and I want to teach you how in a short little presentation. So here's a bit of my story. I was born in Central Europe in the 70s, and I had a really difficult relationship with my dad. He was highly critical of me. He had been full of anger, blaming others, probably fears and anxieties. To compensate this lack of appreciation, I became a high achiever. I really wanted to impress him, and I had these internal insecurities, lack of confidence, lack of self-esteem. And at one point, I became a victim of my mind. I, I realized I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy. And for the next 35 years, I've been looking for a way out. I moved 3 countries. I have started businesses that failed. I've tried corporate career to do the corporate ladder, sport career to break out, extensive traveling in 64 countries. Uh, I tried network marketing, trading and investing, overworked myself. I went spiritual to avoid it all. And it didn't work. And I thought probably it's time for me to get married and I'll be fixed. And unfortunately, of course, I found my mirror. My wife had very similar issues. That may be the case with you. Then I've done hundreds of personal development books that did not get me the new results. And I spent over $100,000 on different events, say Tony Robbins, John D. Martini, Brian Tracy, most of the biggest names that you know today. And eventually, this all did not work. And eventually, a mindset coach helped me to change my identity, my self-image, and I have become an inspirational parent. That was 6 years ago. And this brand was born out of this struggle and finding my self-worth and there's more to this. But what I wanted to share with you is my dad, unfortunately, all these emotional patterns and unresolved psychological challenges has got to his health. And unfortunately, we lost him about the age of 65. So look at it like if you have some of these issues, and the negative emotions are usually anger, fear, hurt, guilt. These are the usual ones. And negative sticky thoughts, then it could cost your life. And of course, then how will you be the parent you want to become? So here is the story. Here's my little family. And I did become the parent probably I never had, or the dad I never had. And luckily, I've changed the future for my family. And most importantly, that brought about the Doctor of Self-Worth brand, which is really exciting. And what I did with this, I started homeschooling my children, and I promise that I'll bring you today about what I have set out as 15 points to build resilient kids today. And please borrow these and use what you can from whatever school your kids are going to. You can still teach them and nurture them. So I will click these through really fast because of time constrictions, but I want you to understand that there is plenty more to do. So I always look at languages. My kids are studying 3 languages now, and I use Duolingo. I look at communication. They need to be masters of communication, emotional resilience. And why is this important? Because I want to incentivize attempt rather than success, so they keep trying. Inspiring leaders, 1 a month. You can use any resources and discuss impacts and their achievements. Presentation skills, and that's Toastmasters maybe, or any community. Money and investments. I want to look at relationships and how to set up their boundaries. Customer service in some way, what age they are, and that fits. Influencing skills, building rapport, and knowing how to get hired, because at one point they may need to make some money. And then I want them to experience volunteering, earning some money, which is something to experience for each of us, and then going deeper in what they love to do. That's my goal, and probably turn their life into a playground where they get paid for doing what they love. And lastly, at homeschooling, we do the usual 5 subjects, but I want to keep going on with something a lot easier and much simpler to do. And these are reflections. I believe reflections are the most important things that you may ignore or may not even notice. And that was for me too. What do you see in your children that you need to resolve, probably from your past? And here is the question to you. Where is the discomfort? What's your biggest problem? Because that's where the breakthrough is. And there's a little story for you about my child, my son, who couldn't score a goal, and he was blaming his teammates. He said, I can't trust them, he said. And I knew, because I was a coach about 7 years ago, 6 years ago, that somehow he's not trusting himself. And when I went to see my mentor, because I was stuck, I couldn't help this boy, said, well, he said to me, is his father scoring goals in life? I could not see that it was my reflection, his troubles and struggles in sport. I didn't take a leadership position. I didn't take my brand to the next level. And when I did, the Doctor of Self-Worth brand was born out of that breakthrough. And of course, the next year, my son shifted easily, was able to score goals, and his confidence was back at its peak again. So always look at what could be it that you are not seeing, and maybe you need to ask some help. I want to give you more of a few questions that you could use at each end of the day to be aligned with your God or the universe, the 5 daily check-ins that I use with my kids. And these are really handy because they pointing their focus on what I think will serve them and maybe serve you. So what is the best thing today? What's the best thing today? What are you grateful for? Really finding the good. Who did you help? I think we're all in this together, right? Why not help others? And what did you learn? Like that conversation of what went well, where is room to improve? But most importantly, I want to speed up the learning process and implementation for them because that increases their growth. How do I do that? Well, I want to know how they could use their learnings tomorrow or the next time. And what will they do different? Because obviously, when we do things differently with a different mindset, we'll have new results. So take a screenshot if you need to, maybe rewind the video for that other 15 points, but I want to keep going because I want to give you even more value. But should you have any questions, please shoot it over to my email, Endre@drselfless.com, because I want to help you to take that leadership position and really flow through to the new version of you. What else have I got for you? Well, what I've got here is the last few thoughts and messages, and I believe these are the most important ones. And if you ignore these, you will see the impacts. And luckily, I believe I did some hopefully great job in reminding you and helping you to create new awareness. I believe God wants you to live in abundance and joy and contribute as much as you can because you deserve it. And see, I believe the biggest trap for most parents, and that was me too, is not spending quality time, not being emotionally and physically available for your children. And that was me. I thought, dads, we just need to earn a lot of money. And then it's ticked. But what happens at that point, and this has happened to me too, you could risk your children, they could interpret it as I'm not important, or I don't deserve time and attention, or I do not matter. And can you believe that these are exactly the lack of self-worth challenges that people come to me in midlife crisis 20, 30, 40 years later that are originating from those times when they were school aged. So be careful, really pay attention. And the question here, of course, is are you struggling with your own limiting pattern? Because if you do, then probably your children will have them and will limit their life and their experiences. Remember the emotions that I was telling you about? The anger, sadness, fear, hurt, guilt, the feelings of I'm not good enough, I don't deserve it, or the inner securities, lack of self-esteem. Well, they will inherit it unless you break out first. And what I'm doing here, if I'm doing this well, is that saying there is help. There is a path here for you. And sometimes it only takes a few sessions to shift these patterns because they could mess with your life and results and offer you the path right now to take this path to set yourself up for success and then be a role model. Remember, we're talking about how you could inspire your children, how you could be the hero in the family. And of course, the ultimate teaching is you, your life. And the ultimate teaching is how you treat yourself, how you treat others, of course, including your children, and the level of freedom that you've been able to create for you and for your children or for your family. And you know what? There are amazing tools available to create something truly phenomenal, no matter where you come from or how difficult or challenging your past was up to this point. I know because I do transformations, selfless transformations every day, and it's fairly rapid. So the last point I believe is, and you may have heard about this, is self-image. Now, self-image determines your results and your outcomes and your behavior, how you show up in the world. And this is why self-image is the masterpiece or the centerpiece of self-worth transformations that I do with every one of my clients. And just please check out the reviews if you want. There are only five-star reviews on Facebook and Google everywhere. But reach out to correct it if you need to, because I'm here to shortcut the process so you will be able to not waste 35 years like myself or waste $100,000 because I think it's just too expensive and you will not be able to recover the time. I'm almost 50 years old and it took me, as I said, over 3 decades. It was great to connect with you. You are in the best hands and you have the best experts here. Listen, take notes, and reach out to us because I believe there's another version of you inviting from the future who is taking life in a much easier way and with a lot more mojo and results that you want, inspiring your kids and having a whole lot of fun. See you soon and let's stay in touch. See you soon.